mix superstition with science.
In the early autumn of 19th, the cold raindrops fell like broken wings and hit the folds of the vast mountains in Xiangxi, but also on Gao Ming's thin blue Chinese peaks. 2 steps deep, he was struggling on the muddy mountain road. The heavy canvas bag was hurting his shoulders. The dim beam of the flashlight, in the thick and impenetrable darkness, pushed through the darkness. The view was reflected by the hideous and twisted tree shadows.
Damn!
Gao Ming wiped the rain and sweat from his face. The Miao village mark on the map for a rest seemed to be unreachable. What's worse, a dull roar came from ahead. The flash flood washed away the only wooden bridge. He was completely trapped in this place, and no one around 4 miles. The only hope. On the map's edge, the name marked in tiny font on the map. Heixiao is said to have a few families. Hunger, cold, and exhaustion torture. Just as his strength was about to run out, in the mountain valley, a few dim and flickering lights finally emerged, flickering like ghost fires. Gao Ming was refreshed, gritted his teeth and sped up. When he got closer, was an ancient village built in the mountain. Dozens still stood darkly in the rain curtain. It was terrifyingly quiet. Only in the center, a temple that was significantly taller than others. The ancestral hall with a faded white banner was still lit. There were faint, suppressed cries and whispers. Gao Ming forced himself, knocked on the door of the house closest to the ancestral hall. The wooden door creaked open fast. Yes, a wrinkled old woman's. A wrinkled face of an old woman full of peeked out.
Who are you? Stranger!
Excuse me, ma'am.
Gao Ming tried to make his voice, sounding gentle and harmless. He took out the crumpled letter.
I'm just passing by. The bridge is washed away. I want to stay for 1 night. I'll leave when rains. My name is Gao Ming. I have a letter.
The old woman used the dim oil light in the room, carefully identified the red seal on the letter, and looked at Gao Ming up and down. He looked like a weak scholar, her vigilance slightly eased, but was replaced by deeper worries.
Young man, you came at a bad time. The old patriarch just passed away. The wake is not peaceful tonight.
He lowered his voice with a quiver. Shitu and his father, who were keeping vigil, have been scared back. Let me tell you, he sat up by himself. The atmosphere in the ancestral hall was heavy. The body had been laid down, but the stone and his father were still terrified. Pale faces, describing the terrifying scene incoherently. In the flickering candlelight, the old patriarch's stiff body, how his stiff body sat up straight, how the white eyes turned to them. There seemed to be a chuckle in his throat. A faint smell of a sweet and Tongwei wingo scent filled the air. The village chief was a man in his 40s. His eyebrows were knitted. He shouted loudly.
What are you talking? There's no ghost in world. You must have seen it wrong.
But his hands were also trembling slightly. The onlookers whispered. Fear spread like a plague. Someone secretly looked at the corner. The silent family. That was a few years ago. Non-ethnic family surname Li who moved from outside. He had a quarrel with the old village chief over forest. Suspicious eyes pierced through like needles. Gao Ming stood on the edge of crowd. His eyes behind the black glasses were sharp as eagles. He was not infected by fear, but calmly scanned the scene. The tightly closed doors. Inside several inconspicuous footprints with fresh mud, which were significantly different from the footprints. The corpse's slightly stiff posture, and the faint and dizzying sweetness, and he keenly noticed that the old patriarch's finger on his right hand. In the crevice, there was a small, inconspicuous, dark green leaf pieces, a plant he had never seen on his way into the village. When the village party secretary tried to calm them, and declared it was an illusion, the eternal light in the corner of the ancestral hall, the flame of the lamp suddenly jumped violently, fluctuating, cast shadows all over the hall, like a dance of demons. Several timid women screamed out. The ancestors are showing up. The patriarch was uneasy. The crowd was instantly, and fear escalated again. Gao Ming's heart sank sharply. This is not an accident. He was almost certain that someone was deliberately creating panic, and it was right in this ancestral hall. Among these people, the sweet fragrance, the special grass leaves, the flame that was subtly disturbed. All the clues all pointed to a carefully designed scam. What's the purpose? To frame and cover up, or something else? The sound of rain, crying, and fearful discussions mixed. Outside the ancestral hall, there was darkness and rain, and the temple was filled with fear and hidden malice. He knew that. He must be in this eerie and gloomy ancestral hall. On this rainy night where people are more unpredictable. Find out the one who is pretending.
Host!